Good day everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be probably the most definitive video in this Aliexpress bullshit fake transistor series, whatever you want to call it. So I've done a lot of research, I spent a lot of money, but I finally have answers and I'm happy about this. So the thing I've dug into the most was the tip 41s and 42s. I've done a lot of research on a lot of other things too, but I've done a lot of research on those. I've also acquired a lot of samples of those from different sellers. Now, I don't have them all on the table. These are all different parts. But in previous videos, you've seen, I've got tip 41s and 42s that claim to be Fairchild, onsemi, no name brands, ST, everything under the sun. And there was a common theme inside them. And that common theme was basically this. They always had this size die in it. Some of them, like this is not a tip 41. These transistors here are all tip 41s and 42s. Some of them would have a really, really, really small die in it, like that. I'll take my focus off, focus lock, so I can bring things up to the camera. So some would have a really small die like that. Most of them would have a die that was just a little bit bigger than that. And the thing was, I uncovered heaps, and not just tip 41s and 42s, but other transistors that had this exact die. And I've been trying to work out what it is. Well, I've worked out what it is. It's a tip 31C die. So what it seems that they are doing is there's two routes that they go. Put tip 31 and tip 32C dies in everything, or put something even smaller in everything, from what I can tell. It's obviously not that cut and dry, but a lot of them seem to be tip 31 and 32 type dies, and a lot of them seem to be smaller dies. The smaller ones seem to be just random pot luck, but for the most part, the most of them that are circulating that claim to be like onsemi and Fairchild and all those sorts, they seem to have around about a tip 31, 32 size die. Now, this is where it gets interesting. For quite some time, because all these fake transistors have this same tab and construction, some of them have this little dotted area, meshed area for the plastic mold to stick to it. Others just have sort of like a line arrangement around it. But other than that, the tabs are always the exact same. So I've been thinking, okay, so these are what the fakes look like. So then I went to one of the sellers. Now, at first I thought, oh shit, one of my sellers on Aliexpress is actually selling fake components. And at first I was like, oh, how am I going to know? Because I haven't bought them from a reputable seller, so I still don't know. But no. So I bought these, and they arrived, and I was looking at them going, no, I bought a lot, as you can see, and I thought, you've got to be shitting me. Anyway, then I cracked them open. That is the correct die size. So I thought, wait, hold on a minute. Are there Chinese factories that are actually making copies with the correct size die in them? So I went to the data sheet because I thought, okay, something is really odd here. And so there's the size of a tip 42 die, 80 by 99 mils. In millimeters, that is 2.032 mils, which is exactly what that measures. I've got a caliper. So what's really interesting is when I went to the data sheets. So this is an on-semi data sheet, and you see it's a different package style to the fakes. However, this is also an on-semi data sheet, just a slightly older one. And we see that there are different supply. Now, I'm aware that there's all different fabs in all different countries. I think we all know that. But what do you notice with supplier A's package? Even the pins, you see how these pins are flat and these have got the little cutout, like it's cut out from a sheet? Yeah. And even further, this circle thing doesn't have to be there. It says if present. And on the back, sometimes there's these little holes, but again, hold on. Note 1. Oh, note I. Supplier dependent mold locking holes in heatsink. So they might be there, they might not be. Even this angle on the top, it says optional chamfer. So that really puts a spanner in the works. So the interesting thing is this. Let's compare a real tip 41 and the fake tip 41. And you'll see why I'm getting concerned about the work that these Asians are pulling off. I mean, seriously, yeah, okay, the ink is slightly different and the real one's got thicker wording and it's whiter and thicker, but wow. Seriously, wow. That is all I can say, wow. So, I guess it's very hard to work out real from fake with some of the stuff that's going on. The other thing I've done is I've looked in other parts. So this is a tip 42 that's supposed to be from Fairchild, but it's obviously a fake. It's got an even smaller die. This is a BU406. The die in this is just an absolute joke. It's literally, oh, some of it's missing. Okay, yeah, it's like the tip 31 size die. That's a LM 7905 because I wanted to see if the die was big enough in these ones that seem dodgy, and the die is big enough, which is kind of odd. Anyway, so something else that happened. I bought these a while back, as we all know, MJ15033s and 15032s, and they were complete fakes. Look at the little die inside them. Well, I ordered from someone else that sells actual parts, and guess what came? So I was instantly suspicious. I cracked them open, and to my amazement, that is the correct die. Yes, it's bigger than a tip 41, tip 42 die. It's an 8 amp part. I think it's 65 watts dissipation or something like that. They're real. And if you look at the back of them, yeah, it's slightly different to the fake ones tab. That's the giveaway. Oh my goodness. Oh, and I guess the other giveaway is that it's not copying, on Semi's logo or something. It's an actual Chinese company, and they've just put their logo on it because they're not faking anyone. They are just who they are, right? Which is good. I like to see that. So now that's out of the way, I'm going to put all these back in the bin. We'll get on to the next part of the video. So I've got a couple other things to show you quickly. The tip, I shouldn't have thrown them out just yet. My apologies. The tip 31C die, it comes out to 1.43 millimeters. Let me just see if I can grab one of these things back out the bin without it all falling in further. Oh, come on. Shouldn't have done that. Let's see if I've got one of those, there it is, the tip 41s that have a tip 31 die in it. So if I put the caliper over it and make the exact size of the die, you see it's literally just about on the next line. That's just over 1.5 millimeters, just under actually. The caliper's not that accurate, but it is. It's 1.43 mil. If I put a battery in that and actually crack one open and get it over the die, you'll see it actually is. So they're not all like that. A lot of them, like I said, do have smaller dies, but a lot of them are tip 31, 32 size dies. Alright, so on to the next part of the video. I finally, I'll tell you, this has cost a lot of money and it's taken a lot of time because I have to obviously get a little bit of money, order stuff, wait for it to arrive, get a little bit more money, order stuff, wait for it to arrive. It takes a long time to do this. But because I'm seriously getting back into building serious amplifiers, I mean, I'm going to be going through a lot of transistors and I need to know where I can get, you know, who I can say is a good seller and who isn't. And that's the other thing I'm going to show you in this video too. I've got a list of stores that you can go to on Aliexpress, and I'm going to show you who they are, because everyone deserves to be able to buy parts for cheap without having to get ripped off at some store or, you know, paying top dollar at certain websites and distributors. No one deserves to get ripped off. Anyway, moving on. So I have these BD139s and BD140s. Some say NXP54 on the bottom, some don't say anything on them. Just having a quick look to see if I've got anything else in here. No. So I've got BD140, same thing again, some that are plain, some that say NXP54. So first things first, I've always wanted to know, are these legit clones? Because the thing is, or the NXP ones I'd reckon are fake. The thing is, a lot of these don't have a brand on them. So I'm wondering, you know, because that's something I found is when they're not actually copying a brand, half the time they're real. They're just a Chinese company. So let's see what we can work out. So first things first, I need to know the pinout. I'm not going to sit here and go through data sheets. I'll just do this. It'll be a lot quicker. I think it will. Alright. Collector's red. Base is blue. Base collector emitter. Alright. Let's see. We'll go to capacitance. We'll turn the frequency all the way up. I've demonstrated how to do this in a previous video. And we'll test between the collector and emitter pins. doesn't matter which way around you put it because the junction's not turned on. It makes a slight difference to the reading, but not much. And this doesn't correlate with a figure that's in a data sheet. This is just a way of seeing how big it is inside the package without actually pulling it apart. So 1172 picofarads, that doesn't seem right. I should only be reading like, oh, maybe it does make a difference which way. Hold on. Am I doing something wrong here? Let's grab a power device. Yeah. Okay, no, it's works, but it matters which way it's hooked up, I think. Wait, 470 one way. There's only 100 picofarads difference. What? $92 picofarads. Oh. There you go. Alright, so 90, 100 picofarads. Let's do the same thing to this guy. Okay, that's the same. Let's see what these guys measure. Yep, they're usually different to each other, the NPN versus the PNP. Okay, now those two, oh, it could just be, wait, which way do I have this? Those two are different, yet these two seem the same. That's interesting. Well, guess what? I have real ones now. And I've already tested these. I've got two different batches here. I've got some new ST ones and some old ST ones. They're definitely both real, don't worry. I know where I got them from and I've done rigorous testing on them. These are real. And then here again, I've got some ST ones that are old and some new ST ones. They're all ST. I've just got old and new batches split down the middle. Let's take one and see. This is the BD 140. This is the one that had, well, one of them came in at 60 and one came in at 80. Let's see what the real one comes in at. Okay, I'm not sure why that's happening sometimes. That is really weird. I just randomly get this really high reading. Huh? Wait, does the real one have a different pin out? Imagine that. God, they can't even get the pin out right on the fakes. That'd be insane. Although different manufacturers of these might have different pin outs. That is a thing with some transistors. Very few, but I have seen it. Emitter, base, collector. Holy shit. That is a different pin out. Wow. Okay, we need to test between the outer pins for the real device. Goodness. What? What on earth is going on here? It's a transistor. It doesn't get turned on like a MOSFET. What the hell? Did I just read this wrong? I think the only definitive test we're going to do if I can't work this out is looking inside them. Red is base, green is collector, blue is emitter. I was on the wrong pins. It's pins 1 and 2 on the real one is collector and emitter, and on the clone, fake, whatever you want to call it, it's pins 2 and 3. Okay, so there we go. That's a much smaller capacitance. That's only 40. $32 actually. Wow, that's small. Interesting. Let's try a 139. I'll try pins 1 and 2. Yep, that's the same, 30 picofarads. So we can already tell that the output capacitance, COB, the input capacitance, output capacitance on these is a lot smaller than on these fakes. So that's quite interesting. Let's just have a quick look and see. I'll just get some bigger pliers. Just curious to see. I'm sure I did this in another video, but I'm going to go through everything. The ones labelled NXP and the ones that aren't. Because these tests are different to each other in terms of capacitance. They seem the same. So I want to see what sort of die we have inside. So this is the NXP one, and the die is so freaking small. I mean, that's amazing. That is TO92 sized die. Oh, there's the other one that says NXP. Well, it's the same size die. I'll give him credit for that. Oh my goodness, that is so funny. I'm sure it's not supposed to be that small, and we're going to know in a minute because I've got real ones. So interestingly enough, yeah, no, the other one that doesn't say NXP, no, they all have the same exact same size die. Okay, so if the die is the exact same size but the capacitance is different, that tells you that the silicon structure is different. So these are definitely different transistors being sold as the same transistor. That's always good, isn't it? Last but not least, the other one that wasn't marked, and yep, the same size die again. Let's have a look at a real one. I hate to do this, but I mean, how are we ever going to know if we don't just do it, you know? 139 is, I want to do it to the PNP because I'm going to use more NPNs for VB multipliers and stuff like that. So I'd rather waste a PNP than an NPN with the BD139140 series. That's NPN. That's what I thought. Okay, so I'll take a 139 and I'll take one of the newer ones. Try and keep my old vintage stuff. These are old as well. None of these are new. But some of these are really old stock and some of them are not so old. God, I hate to do this, I tell ya. Do I really want to? Yeah, because how am I going to know if the die is the same size as that die if I don't do it? True. There's no going back now. Well, I can tell you now, the heat spreader in this is so much thicker. And, oh, I want to say this on camera, but I'm not going to. F me. The die is 3 times the size. So, I'm actually glad that I did that now. You compare those two dies. It's literally 3 times the size. So, those little TO126 fakes, the die is half the size. Like I said, it's a TO92 size die. So that puts that to rest. And now we know how big a real one should be. Maybe I should start keeping samples of stuff like this in the box. You know, just leave it, what's this, 140? Leave it in the box. So when I acquire a dodgy looking batch, I can compare it. Although, you know what? I know what a die looks like for the power dissipation size anyway. I'm not that silly. Alright, I won't bother keeping broken dies. Alright, moving on. So we've looked at the BD series. We've looked at the tip 41 and tip 42s. What else? Okay, here's another classic. Don't worry, I've got about 20 of each of these on the way. Because I went to a new seller to buy old stock, I wasn't sure if they were selling fakes or real ones. So I just bought 5, you know, they was selling them in 5 pairs. So I just bought one lot of 5 pairs. These are real. I'm quite familiar with Hitachi brand transistors, all their writing, logos, the package and everything. These are real. So that's fine. These are the same deal, fake package, but they've actually cloned the Hitachi logo. And I'm not going to lie, it actually got me quite good. The steel pins was what gave me away that these weren't the real thing, and the size of the back plate. If you compare it to a real one, if you haven't looked at one for a couple of years, which I hadn't, and then you look at that clone, you'll go, oh yeah, it's got the C, it's got the logo, it's got the 3 little notches in the middle, you know. But they have very recognizable heat sinks, these old school transistors. They come in all sorts of weird and wonderful shapes. In fact, you know what? Let me put this back in its appropriate drawer, and let me just get some examples to show you guys, because it's actually quite interesting. So again, some Hitachi transistors with that same shape back. You'll find a lot of the time, you'll find them like this where it's actually tapered. I don't know if you can tell, but the heatsink's tapered. That's a common technique that I've come across quite a lot. You got this one where there's these little notches and it's tapered. Have a go at these ones. Isn't that an interesting looking heatsink? Heat spreader. So, you know, it's really obvious if you know your old school devices, because they have got these really recognizable heat sinks that you just cannot not recognize. God. I have to pause the video. I've just mixed up my transistors. Here's the counterpart to those other ones I showed you with the strange back that were blue. These ones are grey, but yeah. Do I have anything else that's interesting? Let me have a quick look. Alright, so let's get into this. So the real ones, pinouts. Can't believe I've got to check pinout between fake devices and real devices as well. That's just insane. So not only the transistor blows up, but it definitely blows your circuit up too. That's crazy. I mean, it's probably going to blow it up when it blows up anyway, but oh God. Red is collector, blue is base, so it's emitter, collector, base. Good old ECB. .24 puff. These are two SB 649s and two SD 669s, if anyone's wondering. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. 40 puff. It's quite interesting. Let's see if the pinout's right. Probably won't be. Do I need to say anything about this? Like, really? Wait, what? Wait, let me just double check the pinout. The die can't be that small. Measuring it like this reads much larger value than what the data sheet will tell you, like I said. No, that's the same pinout. Hold on. You know how freaking small the die must be? That's crazy. Wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say. Oh, that's just amazing. We don't need to pull that apart. That's going to be the smallest spec you've seen. Wow, same thing. That is really funny. Should I open them? I've got more of these coming, but still, why waste them? You can see anyway with the capacitance measurement. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. What else did I want to compare? Okay. Again, BD 135 and 136. I've got a couple of original ones here. BD 135 and a 136. I believe it was pins 2 and 3. No. Pins 1 and 3. No, pins 1 and 2. Yes. 30 puff. .22 puff. Alright. 22 and 30. We've got, again, we've got ones that have just got numbers on them. and ones that have got the numbers, not letters and numbers, and NXP 54 again. God, what have we got here? NXP 54. Got any plain ones in here? Give me a plain one. It seems not. And they're all NXP 54 back. Okay. What do we get here? Same deal. 8 picofarads. So I mean, it's blatantly obvious how small the dies are in them. 14 picofarads. 7. Yeah, that's just insane. So I mean, all of these transistors are 100% fakes. They're not even usable copies. They are complete fakes, designed to do nothing but screw you over, right? So I hope that puts some something to rest. Like, if anyone's wondering, any of these transistors I've shown at least usable for something, the answer is no. You can get tip 41s and 42s that have got tip 31, 32 dies in them, yes. But even then, how do you know that you've got one of those, not one of the other ones that's got a million different, even smaller dies in it? You don't. So, yeah, it's really just not, something you can work out. This is something that really interested me. I got these MPSA 42s and MPSA 92s. And I don't have a lot of this particular batch, but is it the 42 or the 92? The 92... Wait, what? There's a different package size for the same... Oh no, it's the same package size. Hold on a sec. Okay, it's the 42. The 42 is in a bigger package, and the die in it was just huge. I couldn't believe that there was a die that big in an MPSA 42. These are all steel, aren't they? Yeah. Are any of these the same batch? No. No. Okay. So, might as well crack some of these open, because I don't think I've looked at these ones either inside. But the die was so big in those 42s, I'm curious as to what size the die is actually supposed to be in an MPSA 42 and a 92. So let's have a look. Let's have a look inside these fake ones first. I'm just curious to see if they've got a really big die or a really small die. What is it? Oh, that probably wasn't the best way of doing it. Oh no, I got it. Okay, that's the same size die. Yeah, in these TO126 devices, it's even possibly bigger. Oh, it's the same. Wow. Not surprised. Alright, I've got real ones. I really don't want to destroy them. These are old school Motorola ones. Let's do the capacitance test instead. So, where is it? Yeah, this is one of those ones that's had the huge die in it. I'm sure it was the 42, not the 92. We can work that out quite easily. Let's work out the pin out, and then we'll check it on the LCR meter, because one will be way bigger than the other in capacitance. emitter base collector. So we're looking on our two outer pins. I'm pretty sure this is the one with the extra large die. Let me just seems to want to be around 7 picofarads. I'll just try it the other way. Alright, we'll read it the way that it's stable. 4 picofarads. That's odd. Maybe that's the one that's got the bigger die in it. Go figure. Let's see what a real one looks like. These are Motorola old stock copper legs. Really high gain too. 4 picofarads. That's interesting. Doesn't measure the other way around. Even less. So that is interesting. It would seem that the fakes actually have bigger dies than the real thing. But there again, when the die is that small, it's going to come down to the actual silicon structure a lot as well. So it could just be the structure. It's really hard to call that one. All right, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have to stop the video. I was trying to shoot this video all in one shot. I'm going to put together a list of stores on Aliexpress that I have got all my, all these beautiful new old stock parts from that are real. Just to help you guys out. I'm still going to do one more video in this series, and it's all just going to be destructive testing. I'm going to rig up a better test setup that's got a thermo probe, active cooling. We're going to monitor it so that we can actually keep the heatsink at a certain temperature. I'm going to work out how to do an exact definitive safe operating area test. I'm also going to do some research and see if I've got fast enough equipment to do any sort of pulse testing. I don't think so, but I might be able to with my function generator or something. I might be able to put something together that works. I don't know. I'll look into that as well. So that's going to be the next video, but that's all I've got for this video for you guys in terms of testing and having a look at stuff. There is something else that I do have to look at, but it's probably not. Okay, so there might be 5 parts, because I also have a whole load of drawers of these larger style transistors, and I yet have to order a couple of types that aren't this clone bullshit. And I don't have the money for that at the moment, so that's going to come maybe, in a month or 2. But when I do... What's that? Oh, God. When I do, I'll have a look inside them and do some tests on them, and we'll compare the two. but I'm pretty sure they're just going to be useless fakes as well. It seems like the going theme from what we've seen. So, alright, I'm going to get off here now, get a list of stores for you guys, and I'll come back and show you. Alright, please pause the video and take note of this. I'm telling you, I've spent literally at least a year researching this and probably spent about, I don't know, a couple of grand in it, you know, over a period of a year buying parts. Every time I've put in an order, I've ordered a little bit of extra stuff just to sort of see what I get. And I've been doing this for about a year now. So I'm not saying that all that money's gone on fake parts, but for every order, I've ordered some stuff to try, if that makes sense. So anyway, I really hope that this goes to help people. Number one store that I've gone to has been LSX Electronics. Also, this other store, Li Shengxing store, LSX in brackets, these, and Shenzhen Jiaxing Electronics, they have multiple stores. It's the same people. They're wonderful people. They are literally my number one. Alright. My second favourite store is this store here. CHXDZ. Absolutely wonderful people again. My third favourite store, it would have to be this store here. Fourth favourite store, it's a bit of a toss-up between, I'd put this store here and this store down the bottom, Zing. I'd put them at the same level. But honestly, from here out, I'd leave everyone at about a level 4. Maybe I'll leave everyone else as a 5. My last option to go to, right? But these are all wonderful stores. I mean, like, please pause the video, have a look at them. The thing with Aliexpress, these are Aliexpress stores, is if you don't know the whole store name and you don't type it in correct, you'll never find the store. That's why I've done this for you guys, because you'll never find the store if you just type in the part name or something like that. You will be browsing through so many different things from different sellers before you found one of these stores, you know. So I've taken this, I'm telling you now, as someone who does this all the time and has been doing this for years, this piece of paper is saving you at least a year of work, possibly 2 years of work, right? So please take notes. Please go have a look at these stores. Obviously, I'm not paid to do this. I mean, do you think that many different stores would be paying me? No, this is just, you know, I'm just amazed by their service and quality of their components. I'm really impressed. They don't sell fake crap. They sell new old stock originals that are really hard to get, but they somehow have them and they're legit. I've got plenty of examples. All of these parts that I've shown you guys that have been arriving fairly recently, I think you can tell these are all legit new old stock. These have been coming from these stores, and I've pulled a lot of these parts apart and had a look inside them, tested parts. I also have a lot of these parts, I have actual originals of already to compare against. Some things I've used. You've got to have a look at the stores. The prices they offer, you just cannot beat it, you know? And this is the thing. If you don't have this piece of paper, that's what's sad about shopping on AliExpress. Everything's so cheap, but you'll get ripped off and you'll end up spending more money having to reorder the same shit to get something that's real. With this piece of paper here, you don't need to do that. You don't need to go to DigiKey or Mouser or JCar or some other store and pay top dollar. You can go here and you can actually get good stuff. You really can't beat that, seriously. Something else that I forgot to cover in the last section of this video was this. I've been doing some research on transistor logos, because there's transistor logos I come across quite commonly and I can never work out what they are. So this is something else you guys might want to pause on, because I believe this will help you tremendously. Here, what I'll do is I'll make it bigger and we'll do this in 2 sections. So pause the video there for, sorry, I didn't realize I was off the screen. So pause the video there for section 1. And then pause the video there for section 2. This logo here, this Toshiba logo where it's slanted, it's like a T but the connecting bit's off to the left and it's all slanted. I have seen that logo on quite a few transistors that I had recently got from some of these stores. There we go. And I wasn't sure what it was until I found that. There's one, right? The old school logo that they used to use was like this. It was just a T. And yeah, there they are. There is a lot of different logos here. So like I said, just pause the video back where I said to pause it. Hopefully the information I've provided you here with all the testing in the previous videos and the different devices I've been able to show you and the comparisons and the inside views and the data sheet information, die sizes, stores to go to. I just hope, and genuine logos, I just hope that it helps you all make a more informed decision when purchasing stuff, because there really is a lot of good stuff out there to be had. Let me just show you something. I don't want to brag, but so I don't have, okay, so down the bottom here, the MJ 340, 350s are all legit. All these transistors are legit, but basically all the stuff in those drawers is fake, and then all the real stuff is back up here. Now, in the last couple of weeks, all the stuff you see here that's transistors that are new, that I've added, like these, all of these, and then everything that's in here that's a transistor, that's all come from these stores. Oh my goodness, I left out one store. I'll have to get a pen. This is a very important store to go to as well. I'll have to add it in here. I'm sorry guys. This is a separate store, and it's also on my number ones. It is AOZIC. Oh, whoops. AOW. You know what? I'll go check. Alright. Pause the video if you need to. That is the other store. Absolute wonderful people again. Really handy. They've got access to a lot of Chinese manufacturers that you can't even find on, what do you call it? LCSC. That's how I got those MJ15032s. And it took me a lot of asking around and Googling to even find out that they were genuine devices. This is why I've taken note of all this stuff. Because, you know, it's really worth doing it. And the thing is, now I have this list of stores. I'm not kidding you. There's not anything that I go to look for in terms of the sort of transistors that I'm usually looking for that these guys don't have. A lot of these people have got capacitors and other things as well. But yeah, just wonderful. Anyway, that concludes this video. That's all I had for you guys to show you in this video. I really hope that this helps a lot of people. I hope that you get some useful information from, you know, having a look at the real devices compared to the fake devices and having the actual sheet full of logos to look at and the lists of stores to go to, so you don't have to go to all the dodgy stores that pop up. Yeah, leave it down in the comment section below if you've got any input or want to say anything in regards to the video. I'm always available to talk. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. There will be a part 4. Like I said, it'll just be very elaborate testing. Although, to be honest, now I think about it, I might not do it. I'm not going to promise it because, look, if I was to do more elaborate testing, it would just be taking devices that I already know are fake and trying to see how much power I can get out of them, which is kind of just pointless really, because they all have, you know, some have got the same size die in them, and I already know how much power that can dissipate. The other lots of them have got all different size dies, so yeah, I might skip that video. Who knows? If enough, you know, if I discover more information, you know, enough to share in a video like I did with this video, I'll do another video. Otherwise, this will be it. But yeah. All right. I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like and a sub. It'll help me.